Greetings, fellow traders. Bubblehead here, and it's time for the Lunchtime Market Update for Tuesday, October the 20th, 2020. Hope everybody's having a great trade day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. Let's check see where the market here today. So SPX still green here on the month. We're green here on the day, up 33 points, below the upper Bollinger Band. The real question now is wave 4 in, right? That's been the question for the last week or so. So it looks like it's trying to be, right? Let's look at the daily chart, right? One of the big things that we want to see is a nice bullish close above the ADMA and the cloud. So let's see if we can get some volume coming in here today. We just had a nice spike in the market, a big volume on the S&P future contracts to give us a push up. We'll take a look at the S&P in a little bit here. So far, low volume on the SPY, but let's take a look at the S&P futures and see how they're behaving here today. So this clued us into some moves right here. So we were able to catch a let me point it out right here. Let's go. So we were able to catch a nice short here off of our signal zone. So we got a big burst up on news right there, but we've had kind of a really choppy day. A lot of times that implies that extremes are fadeable, right? So we got fadeable right here off the signal zone this morning. We got fadeable off of yesterday's lows, right? And we got fadeable here off of the signal zone right here. So let's see how we react. We got a little bit of a bounce back off the signal zone here. So generally looking pretty bullish going into today. And these type of upward impulsive moves can be imply that we're working on another impulsive move up. Again, I'd really like to see some volume coming in there on the SPY on the intraday. So let's see how things go. 3 o'clock, there's more discussions on the stimulus stuff, and they may begin to push this thing up to to new highs up here. So anyway, interesting stuff. Nice double bottom with the after hours levels right there, and great levels for intradays. Tricky stuff, but today was very fast and responsive trades. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Let's take a look at the MES. Okay, so MES, same thing, right? So let's just kind of keep an eye on it here. It looks like it's kind of megaphoning a little bit into today here. So we kind of have this going, right? So look where we found a little bit of resistance right there. And, a little bit of a megaphone-ish type formation here if you go back to these levels. So again, tight ranges here today. Let's keep an eye on it and see if we get any more intraday setups. Let's see if they decide to buy dips today and where we go from there. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Let's look at the Qs. Okay, so Qs gave a nice pop right there. Apple's really pushing its way up. We'll take a look at that in a minute here as well. Let's take a look at the IWM for the small caps here today. Obviously, they would probably react pretty well to stimulus news. But the good news about the IWM is it was strong this morning with the banks here today, and got a little bit of a pop there with the rest of the market as well. But seems to be just kind of chopping around a bit. Let's see if it turns into a bull flag as it holds its 15-orb high. Let's take a look at Apple. So Apple's an interesting one, right? So we had some members that swung this one from overnight, and really patient with it. But again, nice dip buy in there, gave a good push at the open right here, big retrace, and then finally a really nice spike here intraday with the rest of the market on Apple. So definitely keep an eye on this one here. Again, we've been tracking this one as well. It's got it pulled back yesterday, but seems to be holding its upward trend line right here. So let's see if that can keep up its job. SPCE members did well on this one today. Some caught a double on the options here. Let's take a look on this one here. So give a big spike at the open and then a nice buyable retrace right here off of our 382 for another move up. Now it's pulling back here with some increased volume on that one. Again, watch this thing too. It's a wild name. Roku. So we talked about this yesterday on the market wrap video. So keep an eye on this one for some potential follow through to the downside. We were just tracking the 60-minute chart here, looking like a head and shoulders yesterday, and we did get some nice follow through this morning on that one. So for down about 4 or 5 points earlier today. So that gave a good move right here. Let's see if it's in the gap here. It's got an open gap right here. Let's even get to that level below it, that 214 level, if it wants to break down. It really didn't move much on that stimulus news, so it didn't really seem to care too much about that one. So that's interesting. So some relative weakness there. Got a few chart requests out there. So DKNG, of course, on the list. Again, tricky, right? So we've still been leaning bearish on this one, even with yesterday's hammer, right? We talked about it last night. So it tried to give a push up here off of those hammer levels, saying that was a key one, right, guys? We want to get over the 50-day moving average, and it's kind of pulled back pretty sharply right here. My guess is this thing continues the symmetrical move, gets back to the cloud, and then gives some choppy sloppy for a while, right? So we'll see how that goes on that one. Let's take a look at Zoom. So we talked about Zoom yesterday, that the wave 5 was probably in, and look for some downside follow through on that one, and we did. So keep an eye here. It might turn into an evening star reversal on Zoom. Netflix. Okay, so Netflix has been a really interesting one, right? Remember, it was reversal after reversal after reversal after reversal, right? Green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, and then red, 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 right? So yesterday was a pretty rough day on Netflix. So some follow through from this candle, and a little bit down here today, but it's got earnings coming up tonight. after the close. So let's keep an eye and see how that goes on Netflix today. So definitely want to keep on the radar. Let's take a look at Twitter. Twitter with an upgrade today. It's been kind of kind of greenish. It failed to take the inside day up right here. Sorry, this thing keeps popping up. It failed to take the inside day up right here, so it kind of came back in the range. So let's just see how it holds and if it can get some relative strength on that together. It looks like it's forming a possible bull flag on the intraday time frame. Mr. Softy, Microsoft. This is a definitely one to keep an eye on right here. Had a rough candle yesterday, got a little bit of downside follow through, but still defended its 50-day moving average. Just kind of camping out right here at the daily cloud. A little bit low volume today, but let's see if we can get over the 80 MA and over this cloud, and then maybe it'll give a little bit of an earnings run on that one. So definitely want to keep an eye on there. CVNA. This is an interesting one. Again, big impulsive move up here, right? Possibly a wave 5 finish. A, B, C possibility here as it's eating into this open gap below the 50-day moving average. So watch that for a potential pullback on Carvana before it heads into earnings. So that's definitely one to keep on the bearish radar as it's breaking down here today. That's an interesting one. We talked about this last night. Again, below the 80 MA still. Just kind of keep an eye on it right here, see if it stays weak, watches how it handles its geometric lines right here. See if the rips are shortable on that one. TTD, this is another one too. So some of the software names started to perk up a little bit recently. So it is holding the 80 MA. Nice bounce off that one off the pullback today. So let's see if it can kind of keep going and work its way into the gap on TTD. And then last one here is FOUR. Yeah, decent candle today, low volume. It's holding the 80 MA here and seems to be trending up. Looks like it's kind of working on a larger bull flag right there. If you see that geometric line. So let's see how that goes into the rest of the day and where that goes this week. So interesting stuff, guys. Let's see if this wave 4 is done here on the market and if they decide to buy this thing up. But again, guys, I'd like to see some volume. That's kind of one of the key things there. So good stuff, everyone. I hope everybody has a great rest of your trading day. We'll catch you guys in the market wrap. Stay healthy out there and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.